would love to just start by, hearing a background about the business.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm one of the co-founder with this company called Floworks. What Floworks does, Floworks builds AI sales agents that help businesses that are primarily that have primarily, sales-led GTM motions, help them operationalize a lot of the sales operations which are involved in starting from finding lead, reaching out to them, booking calls, to closing them, making them success, onboarding them, right? So think of the entire sales cycles. We do custom sales agents that can help these businesses run this sales motion in a more efficient way, right?
Okay, nice. How did you start the company, or what was like the inspiration for that?
Yeah. So this is my third startup, right? In both my previous startups, I actually did a lot of founder-led sales. My co-founder also, comes with background of doing enterprise sales in some of the fastest growing startups of the last decade, based out of India and Southeast Asia, Middle East. So we sort of both, uh, you know, agreed on what are the common problem we faced on lives, and we wanted to solve it for better. And that's when this whole sort of thing started.
Okay, nice. I'm curious, we can kind of start, we'll go in a few different directions, but I am curious how let's take it back like to the beginning. Just tell me about how you landed the first few clients or first kind of like
Mhm.
bigger clients that were breakthrough for you guys. Just walk me through that process.
Yeah. I think that's a great question. I think it's probably be relevant for many, uh, maybe first-time founders who are listening to this. So we landed like first few clients through a combination of through my networks, right? Again, these were, let's say, my alum from my own college and school, right? And also, let's say, we are part of the Y Combinator as well. So some of the companies in the Y Combinator batch. But then what we also, wanted not to do was to rely on our network so much, because a lot of the time, people who are in your network are friends, right? Can come and try your product when it might not be that big of a problem, in the life to solve that particular problem. So we also landed first few customers through simple cold outreaches, right? So people who don't even know us, right? And if they are coming and showing interest in the product, again, just from a cold outreach email or LinkedIn outreach, then that means it's a valid problem we are solving, right? So I would say majority of has been like cold approaches, right? Cold email approaches, and rest have been through networks.
Okay. I'm curious with the customers that are coming on now, like obviously AI agents in general are massive and there's a lot of like buzz around them if you're selling mid-market B2B. For example, like the AI SDR function that I know you guys have, like which one of those pockets has been the thing that kind of has driven the most demand for you guys in terms of like the features and functionalities of what you offer?
You're right. So there have been few specific workflows with respect to SDRs and with respect to revenue operations that have driven the most amount of traffic to us so far, right? So, for example, some of the key workflows we solve for SDR rep is like how do you automate objection handling, right? So, for example, if you're a business having large surface area product or like a complex product, right, have lots of help documents. If your pricing are not standardized, right, if you're that kind of business, then for that business to train sales reps as to how to handle objections from customers, client, prospects is a big task, right? Because the knowledge volume is volume is huge. If we can, so one of the workflow that works really great for us, for our customers in that case is like they train one of our AI agent on their existing documents, right? This can be sales collateral, this can be past email conversations, this could be your website, product page, solutions page, pricing page. Once the AI sort of knows how to sort of find information from this agent gets hooked up with your LinkedIn and with your email. So as soon as a prospect, let's ask a questions, hey, like, can you tell me more about your pricing or your security feature? Can send me some more case studies. Are you open this Thursday, right? This kind of question. The AI basically learns to go to relevant sources, or let's say relevant tools like Google Calendar, to give out vacant slots, find answers from relevant sources, find answers from your Google Drive to send a relevant case study, right? So think of every objection handling that can happen. The AI is able to do that. This is one of the I think this is the most popular use case of our AI agents so far in the whole sales development process. Another popular is revenue operations. So what I've noticed is that large organizations have like they maintain their source of records in CRMs, and they want their CRM to be the source of record. Today, if you see in the market about, like, we did a survey, and the data also suggests that 50% of the CRM data globally are outdated, right? So from whatever communications that you're doing over email, LinkedIn, can you sort of pull and summarize that information, sync it properly with the CRM so that your CRM gets updated properly, right? This is again a very popular workflow with us, and we are already integrated with HubSpot and Salesforce. So this sort of also is picking up very fast. These are two of the popular workflows. On top of that, you can, with our agent builder, you can create any sort of sales workflows on our platform. And like maybe from sales development to RevOps to even customer success steps, right? You can create any sort of workflows connecting all different tools, data sources, system records, and the agent will function just accordingly.
Nice. It's very interesting. I know that CRM with outdated data is very, very real. I'm dealing with that at a couple companies right now. It's crazy how much data goes into those CRMs without any sort of verification and without any sort of like enrichment. And it is, yeah, it causes a lot of problems down the road. I am curious with your Y Combinator and maybe other funding that you've taken on. What was the process like for that, and how has that kind of impacted your growth trajectory in the present day?
Yeah, so YC was really helpful. So I come from India, right? Haven't had traditionally exposure to the North American market, which is sort of the largest SaaS market if you're building in SaaS. So YC was sort of that doorway for us to get and learn more about the US SaaS market, because even within the YC sort of network, there are like 1,500 SaaS companies, right? So it gives a very ready-made kickstart in a new market, which if your market is let's say North American, US, Canada based, right? And obviously other funding really helps. So a lot of our product building involves a lot of research in LLM and tool building capabilities, right? Tool calling capabilities of LLMs, right? We did publish few papers around that, filing for a patent as well. So we do have, like, for this kind of product, we do have initial cost overhead of talent and research, and obviously initial funding really helped in that aspect.
Okay, nice. And with the motion that you're doing for go to market now, what are kind of the primary channels? Is it still like cold outreach and outbound that's driving most of your meetings and traffic?
Yeah, that's right. So that's the primary, and we in fact leverage our own AI agents for that to build the top of
I would
funnel.
assume.
Uh, yeah, at scale. We also do leverage the inbound methods pretty well, because, as you mentioned, there is a buzz around AI agents and AI SDR, this kind of product in the market. So we leverage inbound channels. We are one of the highest rated, AI sales agent, AI SDR product on G2. We are the highest rated, in fact. We are also one of the, we probably rank in top one or two results for very strategic keywords related to AI agents and AI SDR, right? So that channel also drives a lot of revenue. And over time, like, our customers also speak a lot of good things about us over many channels. That really helped us, getting a lot more referrals and everything.
Okay. What is obviously you guys are doing well right now from at least what I've seen, but what is the kind of revenue goals and like goals for the team? I'm not sure if you have those set for like 2025, but I'd love to hear kind of where the company's going in the next like 12 months.
Yeah, so we're nearing like a million mark in ARR very soon, probably, in about 1 to 1.5 months. and the goal is to end this year in about 3 to 3.5 million, right? And majorly we are targeting, like, the larger customers now, right? So far we have taken, we have started with smaller to mid-market companies, but what we have learned over the experience is that, the challenge of hiring, human sales team is more prevalent as the company sizes grow, right? Because as you are growing, the only way so far today, the only way you can grow your revenue if you're doing sales led motion is to hire proportionate amount of people, human in the team, human resource in the team. uh, we want to sort of, do away with that. We want to affect exponential growth in any companies that are using our product. So that's the end goal. Yeah, so yeah, hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that makes sense. So kind of like tripling or potentially quadrupling revenue within the year. Other than outbound, what do you see as like the channel that's going to drive that? Are you guys thinking of, expanding partnerships, running ads, like building more of a brand? I mean, I'm assuming a lot of the demand over the next 6 months is going to be really helpful for you guys just because there's so much buzz around AI agents. But what else are you doing to kind of hit
Absolutely.
those
Yeah.
goals?
Yeah, so we are in fact trying, we are entering the paid marketing channels a little more, like as you speak, right? We have done like very few experiments around that, on the paid ads and everything. And maybe we'll obviously do certain, paid partnerships and paid ads on like branding and little stuffs in coming maybe, 4 or 5 months or something. Obviously, yeah. I think as companies grows, that becomes important for any SaaS company to sort of stand out in the market, build a level of trust, right? So that people speak about you, right? So I think that journey is something that obviously we need to cover going ahead.
Yeah. What other challenges are you facing as you scale? I'm sure that like running a SaaS company that's lean and profitable with funding, like there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it. What are like one or two of those big challenges that you guys are facing right now?
Yeah, I think one of the challenge, I would say, probably not just us, but other people who are in the AI agent space are probably failing is in customer success efforts, right? Um, Fundamentally, as an industry, we have not seen any kind of technology like AI agents in the past 2 or 3 decades, right? It has always been standardized software companies, verticalized software companies till date. And as we are entering the era of AI agents, we are going towards uh, more like a modular approach to SaaS, right? Where you can sort of customize your experience, your workflow in the way that suits your business, right? This requires a bit of handholding in the initial days with the customers. Like you cannot expect the customers to know how to build the agents by themselves, and right. That success effort is something where, I would say, for the lack of better word, is probably, affecting the time to go live with a product in some sense. Ideally we would want to be, less than a week. Currently it's probably, going to 2 to 3 weeks or something today. I think that's a challenge we are facing and we want to solve that. I think many companies in the space are also going through similar challenges. That's my assessment as well.
Okay, that's good to know. And just as I know we're wrapping up here soon, one question that I have is if you could kind of give advice to another, whether it's a startup founder or someone a little bit more experienced on specifically when it comes to AI and leveraging AI to grow their company, whether it's agents or workflows, what would be that piece of advice and what do you think would be the most impactful thing they could implement in their company?
Yep, yep. um, I would say, like, people who are building agents have to solve two critical challenges. One would definitely be technical, right? Because agents today, which are generally built on top of LLMs, but inherently are a lot more sort of non-deterministic in nature in its action, right? Ideally, if you sort of deploy solutions in any business application, you want it to be as deterministic as possible, right? So it's a technical challenge. How do you tune, or how do you sort of I would say, for the lack of better word, fine tune your agents for the specific application in such a way that it sort of performs more deterministically. It's a technical problem. I think the solutions will also differ across industry, right? We have basically perfected AI agents for sales use cases, right? If someone is building in marketing use cases, they need to perfect it for that particular domain and industry, right? So I think that's a technical challenge people do need to overcome. Another, I think, lever where people need to overcome is how do you build great user experience around AI agents, right? Again, as I mentioned, right, onboarding is and customer success is a challenge, right? For even a little bit complex, let's say, business application, right? How do you create an user experience that you can make it closer to self-serve as self-serve as possible, right? That is a challenge that I would say founder needs to think about. So I think design is going to be important. So technology and design probably would be two key factor here. And probably on the GTM side, I think the age-old things obviously apply, like the first principles of how do you get your first customer, how do you scale. I think those things probably remain the same.